eat it gold.
All right, recording is in progress, so let the funny flow.
Because up until now, it was just, well, I'm on the spot.
We were just bitching about
life.
Yeah.
And stupid people who are everywhere.
And they were looking for jobs.
Can't swing a dead cat without hitting one of them.
That's
so
right.
True. So true. Speaking of demons, my child this weekend was the fucking worst.
Oh, no.
He is diving
He's going
into those
through
threes.
Something, isn't he?
He is diving. It's been but usually, like, I'm fairly patient with him. Like, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to push me over the edge. And boy, oh boy, Saturday, he didn't even push me over the edge. He just hurled me over the edge.
Just thumb on Louised it.
Yeah, just pedal to the floor and let's dive off this cliff together.
Oh, no.
Well, the last couple of weeks, schedules and everything have been kind of thrown off for everyone.
So which really fucks them. No, they don't. They really get fucked up if you fuck up their schedule. But I'm just like, Jesus, I need a fucking break.
Yeah.
So Saturday, he stayed overnight with Grandma and Grandpa. I got stoned and went to bed at 9:30.
Nice.
Nice. Mom, if you're listening, no, I didn't do that. I read a Bible verse and
it bored you to death, so that's why you fell asleep.
So I fell asleep.
I
went for Deuteronomy. Really gets you in there.
There you go.
Really puts you to sleep.
I tried new gummies, as I think you know. I think I showed you the pictures.
Yeah,
those. Okay, so those of you listening who didn't hear this first part of this first story,
because you're not all on our group chat. We only have 300.
If you wanted to, we could talk about this on the group chat, but not yet. So, I tried some other gummies that took 3 hours to take effect. So, like, just
and
as I was about to go to bed,
12.
And then I got up the next morning at 8:00, and I was still like, whoa, like I was afraid I was gonna, fall into the sink brushing my teeth. So it was a Saturday night. So it's fine. It's not like I'd go to work.
It was a Tuesday at noon.
It was a Saturday.
She has a problem and we're looking for help.
I'm sure there's a program somewhere that
NA, Narcotics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so then I found these other gummies. I went to the smoke shop. They're legal, everyone.
Smoke shop's got the good shit.
I got the other ones at the smoke shop too. The Giggly did not make me giggle. They made me sleepy, not giggly.
I love how you pantomime sleeping like we weren't going to know.
Giggly.
I wasn't giggly. I was sleepy.
Yeah.
Not giggly, sleepy.
Yep. So I got these other ones that said sativa on them. So I know they weren't indica, which equals indicouch. So that's how I know the difference.
Got it.
Okay.
So they were sativa. So I got these. And
that sounds like a sugar supplement.
Yes,
yeah, I know it does. Yeah,
stevia. Okay.
I put that in my coffee sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I like it better than the other fake sugars.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Greg and I actually split one because it said if you're starting out, just take a half of one. Took a half of one, and it was probably like a half an hour, and I started to feel, I think something's going on. Oh yeah, my head feels a little like heavy right here, and we were watching riff tracks, and
the best thing to watch when you're.
Did you turn your little light on that's behind you and just stare at it for a while?
I did that when I went to bed.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I have two. I have one like this, and then I have another one that's purple, and it's just dots that go like this.
Oh,
God. It rotate all over. And so I was like, yeah, that's cool. But before I let the dogs out, between riff tracks and going to bed with the lights, I went outside to let the dogs out, and I look up and it's snowing. And I looked up and it was pitch black sky, but I could see the snowflakes coming at me. And it looked like the beginning of Star Wars.
Yep.
So I pulled out my phone and I took a video. I called Greg out. Come on, it's like Star Wars. And he's like, I think the gummies are working. Okay. When I did this, when I'm looking at this with my bare eyes, it looks like I'm in the beginning of Star Wars movies. It's snow. It just looks like snow right now. But I swear to God, in real life, it looks like in the beginning of Star Wars.
That's amazing.
But it was fun. And I just
And
looked
then
at the video again today and I'm like, it's actually really cool. And I'm totally sober.
I get that sometimes, like when I've been driving and it's snowing.
Yeah, it's
and you don't have a lot of headlights coming at you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're like in the country road and the snow is just flying at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool. Yeah. Oh, also, I want to mention to the people watching, listening, you won't care. Watching, I am green today. I don't know. I have
With
got
envy.
I have a white light here, but I'm green.
There's
My
that
ring light.
comedic
Mine
gold
was
we were
kind of
talking
green
about.
earlier too. I had to adjust a few things because I was like, oh, I look green today.
Well, I thought that it would get used to it. Like Zoom would start
Mm-mm.
fixing stuff over as it sat there. Not so far. But yeah, my ring light died, took a shit. And so I bought another one, but it's not coming until tomorrow. So next time we record, I'll have it.
Woohoo.
Anyway, we should probably get going as I don't want to dilly-dally too long because we want to finish this one.
Ooh, I have a blizzard in the freezer.
I have a donut. I bought a donut. We went to grocery shopping on Sunday. I bought a donut.
Did you go grocery shopping hungry?
No.
Or partially stoned?
I'm rarely hungry anymore because I'm on the Manjaro.
You were working with you were dealing with Barb for a bit, weren't you?
I was dealing with Barb. Actually that was Sunday. Yeah.
How many candy wrappers did you find?
No candy wrappers, surprisingly.
How many? But we did find Culvers.
We did find a empty bag of Culvers. You guys, what we did is cleaned out my mother's car. Well, we didn't clean it out. It's still a pigsty. We took my mother back to her car, which is parked at my house, and said, this is your chance. Go through, get whatever you want out of there. She wanted everything. She wanted calendars from like the 1900s. I'm like, what are you going to do with those? Oh, I read them sometimes. She hugs them.
Okay.
Holds them like a baby and goes, I read them sometimes.
First of all, Amy.
Yeah.
Don't ever say that again. The 1900s?
Well, it was 24 years ago.
Are we like looking for Victorian children? Like what the shit?
Well, that would be the 19th century, right?
We're
Which means
not
1800s.
We're not saying the 1900s, okay?
In the year 1985,
I was the year 1999. We were all partying like it was the year 1999.
Yeah.
Thanks, Victorian Prince.
Y2K was looming around the corner. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
No, your mannerisms and everything. So I did go to Christmas Eve Mass with my dad, and there was a woman who was doing that as she was reading.
Oh my gosh.
She was just gesturing and everything. I don't remember the passages that she read, but it was, I turned to my dad and I'm like, are we at a poetry slam right now? Like, and she was just, like, whoa, and then, whoa, whoa. I was like, oh.
And then Joseph said, Mary,
basically,
how did you become pregnant?
It's not mine. Yeah, but that just your gestures and mannerisms just made me think of that. And she was definitely, yep. I was just like, okay.
She was feeling it.
Maybe she thought there was a talent scout there.
Oh, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. So, but no, I did the shopping before I saw my mom. We had to get we had to get groceries for her because, of course, she's out of food, even though she doesn't eat. And I just bought her $200 worth of food the week before.
By the way, Megan, I really want to just tell you what I got you for Christmas because there is a time stamp. Amy, you know, I told you what I got her.
You too?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet. Don't say anything.
Amy, I'll message you really quick.
Okay. I'll remember it once you
stamp on it. This is podcasting ASMR. We should do that. Today on the Dead Files, we will be talking about season 8, episode 11,
Oh, yeah. You
What?
got some
Should I
time,
just-
though.
I know, but what if she makes plans?
Why don't you just tell her? But then she'll yell real loud, and we don't want her to yell real loud right now because she'll be real excited.
Megan, it's up to you.
Do you want to hear?
Nod or shake your head. Well, you know how there's a sold out show coming up in April?
You shut your fucking mouth.
So will you be my date with my friend Allison, who went with us last time?
I told you she's going to scream real loud.
Uh-huh.
I think you did good, Amy. That's a good one.
There's something else too, but
I don't
Yes.
even care. We're gonna see Em and Christine, and I'm gonna fangirl so fucking hard.
and I'm gonna pretend to not know her at that point.
For sure.
Yeah, you will because she's going to want to get her picture taken with her. I went with her for Wine and Crime. I have first
Okay, yep.
whatever
It was
experience with
embarrassing
this.
for Amy.
No, it was okay. It was
Lucy
okay.
had her baby.
Mhm.
Yeah. Saw that. Are they friends again?
No.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think
Damn.
they can. I don't know if they can fix that.
Damn.
Yeah.
They can
That's a
still do
riff.
the show together?
I don't know.
Wow. That's too bad.
Oh my God, Amy, you're the very fucking best. You're the very fucking best.
My
What's the
tickets, but,
theater? Because it
is it the
switched, didn't it?
Fitzgerald? Fitzgerald, I think.
That's where it
Fitzgerald
was
is
last
nice.
time.
It's real deep. Oh, you've been there. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's real steep, so every seat is good.
Isn't that
So
where
we're-
Wine and Crime were at too?
No, they were downtown. They were at Pantages. No, was it Pantages? They were downtown because remember we almost got knocked over by
Oh, yeah.
some guy running from the police.
Oh yeah, I bought these back in November. Whew.
Fitzgerald is in St. Paul.
Oh, you've been really holding on to that
Oh
secret.
my God, that's why I'm like, I gotta get them to you, but I don't know when I'm gonna see you.
I know.
And I don't want you to make plans for April 5th.
April
Okay.
5th.
Best day ever.
Fillmore. It's the Fillmore.
Okay.
Fillmore. You should be able to ask now to get that day afternoon off. So you can go
You
home and do
should.
your hair and everything so you look all cute.
Mhm.
First of all, I always look cute.
That's right. That's true. You're right. All right.
Okay, sorry.
Um,
I had to do that.
No, that's good. I'm glad.
You're the
I'm glad
very
she knows.
best.
And
You
that was
guys are
good to do that.
amazing.
That's
It was really hard for me to not scream, just so you know.
I know, I saw your face.
counts. All right. Ready to start?
Sure.
Only 24 minutes late?
Later.
Okay. Hi, Ghosty fam. Welcome to The Activity Continues, a podcast where three soul friends talk about all things paranormal. Ghosts, hauntings, psychics, movies, TV shows, especially the Dead Files, and lately, squirrel spirits, or at least
Mhm.
AP and I have been talking about that, and other spooky and spooky adjacent things as well. We also like to interview people in the paranormal community, as well as past Dead Files clients and other interesting people. And sometimes we even tell your stories. I'm Amy, and please say hello to Amy P, aka AP, who is going to tell you what we are doing this week, and most importantly, why. Though you'll know if you heard our last episode. You'll know why.
Hello, and thanks, Amy. And I don't know about you guys. Today is January 8th that we're recording, which also marks the first Monday in two weeks and first full week of work in 3 weeks that has been worked.
I hate it.
And anyone else just feeling it?
Yeah, for
It-
sure.
Like, it was the longest day
Yeah.
today.
I'm
I
sorry,
worked about
you
3
want me to
hours
work-
extra today.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You want me to work a whole week?
Yeah.
No.
Mondays? Who works Mondays anymore?
I know.
What is
Uh,
this?
So that's kind of where we've been at today.
Yes.
But today we are going to be talking about Influence to Kill, Season 8, Episode 11, and it aired September 1st of 2017. And I'm pretty sure the Cosmos chose this episode for us, or the days of the day after Christmas, which is Boxing Day for many of our listeners and friends.
That was me boxing.
I like it.
If you watch the video, you'll see.
Yeah.
It was really
And-
professional.
Very.
Yeah.
And I'll say my only productive action of the day was seriously confusing myself and Amy.
Which, for the record, is my job. So
I know.
don't do it again.
I took over.
Don't do it again.
Mercury was still in retrograde at the time.
Yep.
But
Or in the
This was in the microwave.
Yes. But the Cosmos definitely chose a really interesting episode for us. It had a little bit of everything. So we'll say hello to Megan, who's going to give us a little bit of our content warning.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're all doing great today. We have kind of a lot of content warnings today. We have murder with an axe, or as I like to call it, an axe murder, child death from illness, death in childbirth, train accidents. Oh my. I don't think there's anything else, but if it comes up.
The only other thing I would add in is maybe that there's a child in present who is being tormented.
Yes, that's true.
In the client family. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one to add in. But as always, please check the show notes, because if we talk about anything else, Amy will add that into the show notes that we might not put in at the top of the episodes. So please check the show notes just to make sure that we didn't miss anything that you might not want to hear.
That's right.
Although the beauty, the melodious sound of our voice should make anything bearable.
It can make anything sound good, right?
True story. In 2 weeks, we will be celebrating our 100th episode. Can you even believe it? I sure can't.
Not crazy.
I know. We do have a treat for you. We don't know yet, but we're going to cook up something real good.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Listen, we're 3 of the most brilliant minds of the 21st century. We can
almost
come up
a think tank.
Yeah, in Minnesota, in the 20-mile radius around where we live.
Yeah. Maybe.
Close.
I don't know. There's some smart people in my neighborhood. I'd have to go to another neighborhood.
Okay.
Are we ready?
I think so.
All right.
Are you ready?
I wrote an overview for this one because AP ended up having to do 2 in a row last time. I mean, 2 episodes in a row. She did it. So I will do this one. And then after that, we will get into it and start picking apart all the pieces. So this is Influence to Kill, Season 8, Episode 11, at least on Max and Discovery, and who the hell knows what it is on Hulu or Travel Channel anymore.
It was on demand. It was that as well.
Also, okay.
Yep.
It aired September 1st, 2017, and it takes place in Layton, Utah. A man named Craig is the client, and he's worried because he bought this house for his daughter and son-in-law and their son, but it's not exactly working out. They see shadow figures galore, hear footsteps, doors opening and closing, and worst of all, it's affecting the little boy who is 6. They moved in, and then the mom and son moved out within a month because the activity was so bad. The dad stayed there in that house. However, this didn't seem to make a lick of difference because some of the bad shit followed mom and son back to dad's house. There is a lot here that doesn't make sense, and we'll get into it when we do the dive in, but I'll just finish this. I'll wrap up. So Amy sees several dead people, including 2 men who knew each other in life and did not get along. One of them is a perv and a murderer. She also sees an older woman and a Native American that they never speak
They
of
never
again.
talk about, no.
And then, portal alert. Yep, she finds a portal in the kids' room. So Steve finds out about a family who lived on the property and had a real string of bad luck, aka deaths involving children, childbirth, cancer, heart attack, and also more train-related deaths. Heart attack. She did say it like that too.
Yeah.
He also learns of a brutal double homicide.
Brutal.
They're always brutal.
Brutal.
The mom feels like it's her fault that her son is in danger because the whole family has abilities and she feels like they are cursed. There are 2 wild sketches, and Amy tells them they need a strong psychic / Reiki master to cut the cords from the murder to the child. And then they need 6 mediums to close up the portal. And Grandpa says they'll start first thing tomorrow. And guess what?
They did.
Surprise, surprise. They take all of Amy's advice, and the activity has ended.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen one where the activity has ends it. I mean,
it's usually the
decreased,
activity
yes.
is decreased while
Well,
they're looking for.
There is a piece that I'm very interested in that could not have been told at that point in time if it continued. But we'll get into that when we talk through more of the stuff, because I have a quote in here from the reveal at that time as well.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to?
I felt so bad for Hayden when Steve was interviewing him, and I feel like he saw something.
Absolutely.
Yep, he saw something.
He actually like startled and looked over his shoulder.
And he kept looking over his shoulder. But even his answers, when he was doing that, his answers were like,
they got really short.
Well, he was like looking off to the side.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
That was my first thought.
Sometimes I see stuff. Yeah.
I would say maybe a third of the way into the interview, he saw something.
Yeah.
Something was there.
Yeah. And then he was afraid to talk.
Yeah.
Stay on Hayden for a minute here, because that was the boy's name. Craig says he's a terror now. Like, and Steve, and I agree with Steve on this.
Yes.
Well, he's a kid. Kids are kind of terrors. I mean, we just listened to Megan tell us about how things are going on. But then Craig's like, no, I believe he's possessed. Did feel like things were a little rehearsed with Craig. I didn't feel it from the rest of the family. Maybe he was just really nervous about being on. There was just something off in the way that he came across to me. And
I felt that in the first scene though.
I got it in the reveal too, though.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I
didn't get that. Yeah.
I thought he was very mechanical, and he sounded like he was saying, well, Steve, here's what like he was going to say, yes. That's what I saw.
Like he practiced it in the mirror.
I think, and it's possible they just made him do it over and over again. We didn't have a sound on. Do that again, Craig.
Yeah.
And because he's not an actor, it came out weird.
There was just
probably
there was
what
just
it was.
something, and maybe he reminds me of somebody. I don't know. There was just something that I didn't feel it with the rest. I just felt like something like just off a little bit in the vibe that I was picking up. But in the reveal, when Amy tells them, "Hey, you need to find the compassionate, strong, psychic, and Reiki master."
Passionate. That's what it was.
Remove the cord from Hayden, they will attach the cord to themselves. And Amy says he's going to have PTSD from being bound to a dead guy who is psychotic. If you don't do this, he will grow up to become him. And Craig goes, how will he act? And Amy almost was like,
like a fucking
better
murderer.
See, Craig was like, well, if we do all that, how is he going to be?
Oh,
how is he going to act? And
how will she know?
But that was like Amy kind of like seemed like, you fucking idiot. He'll be better. Like if you do this stuff, he's going to be better, which also meant like he's going to have PTSD. You need to get him help.
Yeah.
And that part was not included in that. And that's the piece that to me, I was like, yes, they did everything else, but did they follow up with therapy or something else?
That's true. We didn't hear about how the kid is now.
I'm assuming the mom seemed like she hid some of that in her life and maybe dealt with it in the wrong way. Well, because she said, well, I knew there was ghosts in this house when he bought it. I just didn't know it was this bad.
Yeah.
Because she saw them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just kind of where I'm like, well, maybe he is getting that help. There's just something about, and the drawing of the body being sucked into the wall.
Yeah, that was creepy.
And that was creepy.
Yeah. I think he was just like, that can't happen. That can't happen. It's like, well, it is what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they said she called it a doorway, not a portal, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was a doorway to the shadow worlds or shadow realm or something like that. And she said it was opened by a child. We don't know if it was the child in the house.
No,
I assumed it was him. I assumed it was Hayden.
I would assume that as well, but they've only been there 6 months before.
Right.
And again, was it 6 months that they had been living there or 6 months till they called the dead files to come in? I'm not sure.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit already, but from our experience, when we talk to clients, we know that when you write your letter to the dead files, it's sometimes 2 years before they come.
Right.
Or at least a year before they get there, and then another 8 to 10 months before the episode's on the air. So if he's saying to Steve, we moved into this house 6 months ago, what I don't get.
How did they get there so fast?
Yeah. Either the dead files beat feet and got there quickly, or
I mean, they
Maybe
might
they
have
were-
because Steve has such a soft spot for kids.
Yeah, it's true. I'm sure they do bump the kid stuff.
Yeah.
The kid ones up
Yeah.
because there's a kid. I know Ghost Hunters does that
Yep.
too.
And who knows what, and this was several years ago, so who knows what all of it was.
Right.
I was just looking through my notes and stuff and just seeing more about what Amy was talking about in that doorway. And she said, it's an old man is losing himself to the house,
Mhm.
which is the sketch, which is absolutely horrifying
Terrifying.
when you look at it.
Mhm.
It's
It's
terrifying.
like, if you haven't seen it, if you've ever seen the movie The Blob, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like people just being absorbed into something.
Yeah, it shows the back of
she
his
said-
head and his
Yeah.
arms and then his
and
feet.
his feet.
And
Yep.
And the rest
everything
of him
else
is-
is in the wall.
And then
He's
she
being
said,
absorbed by the house.
the house is overrun with shadow people. A
Mhm.
doorway was open to their dimension in the green room. And Amy said in kind of a sing-songy voice, I really hated being in that room. And
Yeah.
then she said they can physically take him into their dimension. And that is what
And
she
he
was
would
worried about,
disappear.
is that he would be pulled into this doorway and physically be gone. No
Yeah.
more.
She said that it could take kids and elderly people.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I have maybe you guys can help me figure out why this doesn't make sense to me, but why are Emily and Hayden still at Dad's house when the fucking pervert ghost went to their house and he's there now? Why don't go
I
back to
think-
your house?
I think because
He's following them.
he follows them and,
Well, so then
and
why
Emily,
does it matter where he stays? Why doesn't
I
he
think
Emily
it's the
stay
doesn't
with
get
his
as
family?
attacked too much as much as she does within the house. She said it when
Yes.
she's in that house, if she's
Yeah.
there longer than 20 minutes, she gets punched.
Right.
Yep.
Again,
So
why wouldn't
seeing-
she have gotten punched during the reveal?
I
Or
know, I
why
wondered
wouldn't
that
something
too.
have happened during the reveal? Or when she was talking to Steve? That took more than 20 minutes.
Right.
I did
So-
wonder that. Yeah.
And if it had happened, they would have put it on
Oh,
because it would have
of
been good
course
TV.
They would have.
So I'm a little dubious. It
Yeah.
just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I thought it was also interesting, and maybe there just wasn't space for Justin at Craig's house, but it was just kind of odd. And to
Well,
be
it was
clear,
him. He
they were
wouldn't
also
leave.
He
to
wouldn't
be
leave.
clear,
He's going to stay and fight.
they're also on the same street.
Yeah,
So
they are.
For people to understand where these are, if you haven't watched the episode, the houses are just a couple doors down from each
Like
other.
it's not like they have to drive 20 minutes to
No.
get to Dad's house.
But I
Which is-
think that she was staying with her dad, with Hayden, because of the things that were that was happening to Hayden more so than what was happening to her. Because he
Okay.
was getting grabbed and he was
Mhm.
and he wasn't sleeping in the night because things
and
were
like-
grabbing his covers, were grabbing
Yeah.
him, were touching him.
She did say they reached up under the covers to grab
Yes.
him in the
Yes.
reveal. And when she said that, Amy got a terrified look
Yeah.
on her
Yep.
face.
Yeah. I got the impression that was still happening at the house that they're living at now.
Oh, I didn't
Because
get
that pervert goes
impression,
over to
but
that house. Amy
But
said
it wasn't
that guy
it
goes
wasn't
over
the
there.
pervert that was grabbing him though. It was the
It was
shadow
the portal.
people.
The pervert had just attached himself to Hayden,
Yeah.
but the
Yes,
shadow people
psychotic-
were what
because
appealing.
he wanted to put the thoughts and things into Hayden. So he was
Mhm.
Right.
and
Right.
he was putting those, causing Hayden to be
And that's where the cords came from too.
Yep. he had attached himself to Hayden, but the
So
thing
Hayden was still
grabbing
being
him,
tormented, but it was different.
he wasn't
Okay.
being physically grabbed and pulled into things
Okay.
and terrified of.
But yeah, I just
shadow
thought it was
people.
really scary when they were interviewing him and you could see the second he
Yeah.
saw something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
His whole demeanor changed. Before he was kind of sitting up and then he sort of hunched down
Yeah. And he
and
was.
his
and he
head
kept-
was down and he
Yep.
wasn't looking at Steve.
Mhm.
It was really eerie.
It was like he was taking cues from something
Yes.
else. I got the
Yeah.
impression that something was saying, "Don't say anything."
Yes,
Don't
because he
say
kept
anything."
looking out of the corner of his eye
Mhm.
over to the side. It was really scary, in my opinion.
It
Yeah.
was.
I'm looking at my notes on the people, just on Amy's investigation. They always have her start off with something strong, like something's wrong here, which is what
Mhm.
this one was. Living people have a lot of horrible experiences. Sees a living boy that's out of control with a lot of rage, an older dead man that hates everyone, calls their names, watches them, and is becoming part of the house. Then the young dead guy projects cold, pushes people away with emotions, doesn't want them there. He's a voyeur, a pervert, a predator, causes bad headaches. Women are uncomfortable.
Is he the one that
and
hates
he
women?
travels. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said she is getting a living woman who's of a similar age, who's feeling responsible, or that her family is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's exactly what Emily said.
Yep. And then Amy says she hears magic over and over and over again. The shadow figures are coming from another dimension.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know that it was, this is where I'm not sure that it was Hayden that unintentionally opened this doorway. Because when she was saying stuff like magic, like was a teenager that was there before or somebody, like.
Was Brittany there?
She's just trying to magic, Megan. It's fine.
I didn't write that on the wall, but I do black out.
Yeah.
That's not my handwriting.
I don't remember doing that.
Yeah.
We're getting lots of mileage from her.
Here's the book my dad wrote.
But in case it's on Amazon right now.
It's on Amazon. Use discount code The Dead Files. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Don't. That's not going to work for you.
No.
That won't work.
Amazon doesn't have promo codes.
No.
No.
But Amy did say on there too, in Hayden's room, that it was a bad room, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
From the closet, she's never seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
A really sick feeling, and they could take him in there and just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder how many people who have disappeared have been taken to portals.
Yeah, but
just something to think about.
There aren't that many people who have disappeared that have really disappeared, like in the blink of an eye.
Amelia Earhart.
There's some Bermuda Triangle shit for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like when she said that, I was like,
they think Amelia Earhart was probably eaten by crabs.
Ugh.
That's a
Coconut
rough
crabs.
way to go. They're big fuckers.
I saw something, they don't know for sure, but I saw something that had decent evidence that there was artifacts from what looked like her plane.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those things will eat themselves.
That's gross. Man, nature's dirty.
I mean, you can only hope that she was already dead when she hit the water.
Probably.
Not what they saw.
Okay.
Anyways, going back to other things, one of the things that I'm seeing constantly in this is Steve's investigations. There's always somebody who's got a tragic string of deaths in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those are like, well, he had a heart attack. He was 68.
I mean, a lot of the time when they're interviewing, it's like they're talking about them. It's like the 1800s, the 1700s.
I know, that's what I was going to say. People dropping like flies back then. They didn't have,
you step on a nail,
medicine.
You're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
You have a child, you're dead.
A string of deaths doesn't necessarily equate paranormal.
Right.
Yeah. And like they tied it to this Martha Morgan and said, death centered around her, and like her niece died as a baby. Then her husband died crossing the train tracks. And then somebody else was T-boned.
Was so
and then,
sad.
Yeah.
17 days old.
17 days, yeah.
Days.
Of bronchitis.
Mm-hmm.
Poor little thing.
Which just proves our point. Like nowadays, bronchitis, is it dangerous for a 17-day-old baby? Of course it is. But it's not fatal.
Yeah, hopefully.
But it was back then.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yes, you're right. But there's a lot better chance of surviving now.
Yes. Yep.
And then we had the two
that was tough.
train accidents, which both, okay, so the first one, this genealogist, not gynecologist, I didn't think she was that great storyteller. Because
she wasn't.
As she's telling the story about the guy who, the first one that was hit by a train, she said he was crossing the tracks. And then she said he was T-boned. And I'm like, okay, I assume he was in a car then.
Yeah.
Not walking.
In 1928.
But she never said that. It made it sound like he was walking. And then he was dragged by the train. But then when she said T-boned, I'm like, well, okay, he had to have been in a car.
Yep.
And then that makes sense because you don't get T-boned when you're walking.
Right. But she should have said he was driving, not he was he was crossing the tracks. Made it sound like he was walking,
Yep.
So then the second train accident is this couple, Norma and Rex. And
where Martha's cousin and her boyfriend.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the train approaching and thought they could make it. Then he slammed on his brakes at the last minute and they were hit by the train. How do they know he slammed on his brakes at the last minute. He couldn't tell them that.
Well, unless they had witnesses that heard the
Mhm.
squealing of the tires or anything like that.
Could have been.
And if they got to the scene and saw those tire marks, maybe that could tell them, but
in 1920s, 1930s, I don't
feel
And
like
how
it
did they
didn't
know
happen
he
to-
thought he could make it? My guess
Right.
is he just went, oh shit, and slammed his brakes
train.
on.
Yeah.
Or the other one is that he just decided to take them both out.
Yeah. That was my thought too. He did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe she was going to break up with him. Maybe she was breaking up with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I went on
That's-
a date in high school. I went on a date with a friend who liked me more than a friend. I did not reciprocate,
Mhm.
but he said, it'll just be friends, just friends going to a movie, just friends. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, we were friends. I mean, I liked him.
Right.
Didn't want to, date him. And he was very persistent. And so I went to a movie with him, and then we were driving home and we had to go over a train track, and he went over and just sat on the train track while the train started coming.
Jesus Christ.
And like he was threatening me, and I screamed at him a few times, and he finally was like, oh, I'm just kidding.
What a joke.
And I'll never forget that. It was horrible. And I'm like,
Where's he now? Is he in jail for murder? Because probably.
I don't know. I don't know where he is now. Thank God I have no idea. I did see him at our 20-year high school reunion.
I bet he's in jail.
Like how in other ways when they're saying like, oh, he thought he could beat the train and that sort of stuff, like how many times have we heard stuff like that over the years of people who think they can, well, I'm just going to go around the barrier. I want to get in front of this. And it's like, well, you did get in front of it, just
And
not
then
the
you
way you
stayed
thought.
in front of it and dead.
Yeah. Trains freak me out. There's no way I would try that on my own. Even before
I did
this
once in
happened.
high school because I was late. I was going to be late for my curfew. 'Cause I'd been hanging out with a boy who cheated on me. I know. How could you ever cheat on me? I'm adorable. And I drove right in front of the train because I was going to be late.
Wow.
Don't do that, kids. Be
No,
late.
don't do that.
Be
Just
late.
Or you'd be real late.
That is a teenage
Real
brain
late.
right there.
It is. It's teenage stupidity. It's not bravery. It's
And
stupidity.
that's,
Don't do it.
Teenage brain. Yep.
Teenage stupidity. Anywho, back to Martha.
Yeah. They really didn't say that much about Martha herself, just about her family
just about
members.
her family.
Just that she death centered around her because her mom died of stomach cancer and her dad died of a heart attack.
Heart attack. The
Heart
other thing that
attack.
bugged me about that was when they sat down with this genealogist,
Not again.
she says, she goes, why'd you bring me here? She goes, well, Martha Morgan had a barn.
Yeah.
Just like this. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
I thought that
First
was
of all,
really
it's not her
stupid.
barn.
Yeah.
It's not her barn. Secondly, she probably had, a car.
She was probably a
too.
farmer.
Should we have done it in the, gone and had the interview in the car? I mean, it didn't make any sense to
I know.
me.
That was so stupid.
It was really dumb.
Come on, Luana.
I'm sure it wasn't her fault. It's the producers.
Mhm.
But yeah, they probably got a deal by, some barn wanted to have the show filmed there or something. Yeah.
This is why Martha was brought up, though, is because of what comes from the former cop. Martha's cousin-in-law killed the father-in-law, his wife, and his mother-in-law after an argument. And that was all, that was all centered around Martha again. But it happened to be just like the Morgan property, which was established there around 1892 is what I have. But they said he left the baby 4 months old, tried to kill himself, and his gun jammed. He used a crazy defense and then was executed by firing squad.
Which, that's a rough way to be executed.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably pretty quick, but probably pretty scary to stand there with all those people aiming.
Well, they usually blindfold them.
At you. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Well, there was there was a female spy in World War II, and maybe it wasn't
Mata
a spy.
Hari?
She was when she was executed, and she just was like, "I bet I can fire better than you." Still, like she was taunting those who were on the firing squad.
I love it.
That sounds like Mata Hari. I didn't get what happened to the baby. They never said.
They never said anything else.
They left the baby when he ran out after murdering everybody, he left the baby alive in the house.
Yep.
But we don't hear anything about like who took the baby, because the baby didn't have parents or grandparents.
Nope.
So that would be
I wonder if the baby went to his parents.
I wonder.
Probably.
Which
who knows?
probably isn't great. I mean, they didn't do a great job raising him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Something
goes
like
into
that.
the whole nature versus nurture argument, which we could be here forever talking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And interesting thing, I don't know when it changed with firing squads, but most of the times not everybody had a live round, so that they wouldn't know who was the one that actually was the lethal shot.
Do we want to talk about the Mormon?
Sure.
So this was when he was talking to historian Robert Goebel. The first property owner was a Mormon, John Richard Barnes. Let's see what's interesting. He was in a militia having to do with taking land from the natives, which
who wasn't at that time?
Right, I know.
I mean,
Amy did see a Native American, but then they didn't talk about it again.
Yeah, he was a hardcore Mormon.
Yep. And Steve did ask if he got in trouble for being a polygamist. And I thought that was an odd question, but then he obviously had the answer ready to give. So he was told to ask that. He had 3 wives.
Plus, I mean, it is technically a crime to be a polygamist.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, he was arrested for polygamy and sentenced to 3 months and given a $350 fine. But he was pardoned by President Grover Cleveland. And then they showed the article in the newspaper, which was actually an article about something else. But then it said at the end, these people were also arrested and this man was in there. And it showed his crime was cohabitation. But then the next guy on the list was his crime was bigamy. So I'm wondering what the difference was back then between cohabitation. Bigamy, doesn't that mean married to more than one?
Yeah.
Cohabitation
is probably
together?
just, in sin.
I said that he was married to these 3 women, but he can't be legally married, just like Mr. Wife's guy.
Well, his first
Cody?
wife and his daughter both died in childbirth.
I did a quick inflation calculator, $350. I didn't know the year, so I just did 1855. Is about $12,377.57 today. That's a big chunk of money, especially for somebody who is, a militia and probably not in a very lucrative position.
Yeah.
So that's a big chunk of change.
Sure is.
Yep.
All right. What else?
Well, we did have the mugshot. Steve brought out the mugshot of
the pervert.
No, well, yeah, if we're connecting that to Delbert Green.
Oh, John Richard Barnes.
No.
Did he bring out his mugshot?
No. So the mugshot was of the murderer, who was Delbert Green.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't know if they ever made the connection that Delbert was the pervert or not.
Yes, I think they did.
Yeah. He's the young guy that messes with the living, gets some headaches. He's a predator. There's a lot of dark stuff going on. He can leave with the women.
Yeah.
That's Delbert.
I didn't remember if she actually made the connection, but she did say that was one of the people that she saw. I just wasn't sure if it was the You guys, I watched this 2 weeks ago with 3 other episodes.
I just watched it a couple days ago.
That's fair.
I'm 99% sure she did, because that's in all my notes. That's what I have is that it was that guy.
Yep.
And she said, this is uncomfortable. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
He watches, he stalks them. He's a voyeur and a fucking pervert. Her words.
Yep.
She's not wrong.
No.
Gross. Yeah. So, okay, we should talk about the sketches so that when we do in the video version, I can put them in.
Did you guys notice, by the way, that Matt had hair in the
Yes,
episode?
I did. Yeah. I like Matt with hair. He's so cute.
He's cute without hair, too. He's just
he
cute.
is, but I just like him with hair.
Yeah.
Well, I did marry a man who's bald, so I don't have anything against bald people.
Well, mine wasn't bald when I married him, but he's bald now.
Mine was. Okay, so sketch.
We talked about the male who's sinking into the wall. That's
hate it.
Very creepy.
Face first.
It's scary. Yeah, it is face first.
I feel like because it's
that
face
makes it
first,
worse.
Yes, it makes it worse because because you can't see him, and that's why they're having a hard time
understanding him and that sort of stuff because he's just slowly getting absorbed into the wall.
Well,
Eaten by the
and
house.
what's his name?
Thank you. That's what I meant.
Craig, grandfather,
Yes.
said that when they said that about the guy being absorbed into the wall, he said, "Oh, Hayden sees a guy who
Mhm.
crosses his arms and leans
And folds
into
back
the
into the
wall."
wall. Yeah.
So he's going
Yep.
back first, but I'm sure if he's going in and out of the wall, probably, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's head first.
Maybe that's just what at that moment he was doing when Amy saw him.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not great.
No,
I feel like and maybe I'm wrong, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy, or did I miss something?
he's not a bad guy. No,
Yeah.
No.
he's
just-
the stepfather that Delbert
Yeah.
Green killed.
Killed. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought. I didn't think he was a bad guy. He was just unfortunately getting and Amy even said, and he doesn't want that.
Yeah,
and my thought was, well, who would?
But he hates everyone there.
Well, it
It's
is
older-
his house, but
Older dead man hates everyone. He's in his 50s to 60s, calls their names, watches them, but he's becoming part of the house.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, and this house I think is newer than when he was in that area. But
Yeah. It's probably not the same house.
Yep.
Let's see what else we want
And
to
then
do.
the
I noted.
bedroom closet portal. She
Oh.
did that sketch.
Yes. That's the other
That
sketch.
is terrifying.
Oh, the kid's foot hanging off the bunk bed, and you could see the hand
Mhm.
coming out of the.
It's just
doorway?
a hole with
Closet?
a bunch of hands coming out of it, and
So
one is grabbing onto a foot and pulling him in.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
scary.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, I did note that in the reveal that Craig and his daughter Emily have the same mouth.
Mm.
They have the same very round shaped mouth. I'm like, they're definitely related.
I noted that there must be times when, and I've noticed this in other ones, and Amy, I mentioned it to you, that when Steve's talking to people and his back is turned, it sounds like it's more of a voiceover than in the conversation.
Yes.
So I don't know if
yeah.
and it happened when he was talking in the interviews, and then it happened because you can hear, like, we hear Amy do voiceovers at different times, but you can hear like there's a pattern change in the sound.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, like, he says something. So it makes you wonder, like, was he watching it? It was like, oh, I don't want to say that. I want to say something else.
Mhm.
Or are they cutting in and saying, Steve, this didn't sound great. Just
Mhm.
redo it here.
Yep.
Probably
Because it
him.
also happened it happens in the reveal.
In the
a bunch
reveal.
of
I know.
times, too, and
I
they'll
made a
flash the
note.
people up.
I'm not finding it right now, but yeah. And I wrote, this sounds like a voiceover because they weren't
Mhm.
showing his face. They were showing someone else as if they
Yep.
were talking to him
Mhm.
or he was talking to them, but it didn't jive. It didn't.
And
yeah,
I wonder,
match up.
and I also, it could be that he asks a question and then their answer doesn't connect really to the question. So then they're like, actually, let's have you ask this question because it makes
Mhm.
more sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
it
sure
was
that
really
happened.
interesting that Justin wasn't at the reveal.
I thought so too, because he's the one that lives in the damn house.
Yeah.
And he sees stuff. It's not like
Yeah.
he's denying that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was odd that he wasn't there. I mean,
But
we
we've
just
heard
saw one where
before
they
that-
had 3 people.
Yeah,
So I don't know
I was
why
gonna
they
say
couldn't have had him.
Yeah.
Maybe he had to watch Hayden.
Maybe.
We don't know if
Her
did
mom's
Craig
around.
ever,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, did Craig ever mention his wife?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So maybe. But I mean, Hayden's old enough that they could have done it in a different room. And
Yeah.
he could, they could have done it in the living room, and he could have been in the
The green room where
dining room.
the
Yeah,
things
just
went
put him in the
sealed
room
green
with the
room.
portal. No, he probably didn't want to be in that house.
Yeah.
I can see that. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a different answer than just that
Mhm.
dad
Yeah.
had to babysit. But
And when
who
they
knows?
showed the first
Maybe they
sketch,
didn't
I
think he was there for
fucking
the camera.
hate Steve, how he always leads them with it.
Oh,
It bugs me so much.
just
so
going to blow
much.
your mind. I wrote, stop doing that, Steve, in my notes.
Oh, you're going to lose this. You're going to lose it with this.
You're going to lose it when you see this. Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to like this. It's like, come on now.
And I think part of it is to, like, they have him look at it to show that he and Amy haven't talked about it yet.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I
I
think
agree
would
with you, Amy, that they should have the client open up
open it.
the
Yes.
folder. Yeah.
I think he should hand it to them and say,
Yes.
I haven't looked at this yet.
Yes.
And
This
show
came
that
from
it's
the sketch.
sealed.
This
Mhm.
came directly from the sketch artist
Yep.
that Amy worked with. But
And
you
have
need
it
to-
like
you need to
sealed,
open
like
it.
glued or something. Because I think
Yeah.
Well,
right
he's
now
always-
in the manila,
he's either using like it's either the loop sometimes, but a lot of times he's using a letter opener to open the top of it.
But still, he could have looked at it, then they sealed it. I mean, anything could be happening.
Every episode. Oh, you're not going to like this. Oof, I don't even want to show this to you. It's like, can you just let them think about it?
Now that I think about it, what I just said about, I think they want to really show that he and Amy aren't talking about cases.
Yeah.
Or
Which
anything.
they can do,
I think
but
that's why they're doing it. But yes, I agree. It has been one of the things that have bugged me since the beginning of watching this is why does he always have to tell them what they should be seeing?
Yeah.
It's telling them that, and it's asking the leading questions.
Well, and it's telling them what he expects of them to react from it. You know, they're like, oh, I better react. Yeah, I better make a big deal out of this.
Well, because there are some of those that you see, and you're just like, okay. I mean, that's weird, but
but it's not terrifying. But then there's I don't.
Or the sketches of people who they don't actually look like the ones that we're being told that they're supposed to be side by side with the pictures.
That's a dead ringer. Fuck, it is not, Steve.
No, that was a bloated Elvis.
Last one we did.
Yeah, they both have eyes. One. Yeah, you're right. It's a dead ringer. They both have eyes and a nose. Wow.
Well, they're both human.
Twins.
That's about where the line is.
One's got a butt chin, and one doesn't.
Yeah. One's male and one's female. Come on, Steve. But anyway,
Anyway, yeah. But it was a good episode. Had a lot of things.
It really was.
Hit a lot of the check boxes.
Yep.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought that Emily was very relatable.
Yeah.
She was very genuine. She was probably one of the most genuine.
Well, because she felt like it's her fault.
Yes, because she wants to protect.
Yes, because she said, I knew there were ghosts here when he bought it because I saw them, but I didn't think it was this bad.
Well, how could you?
Right.
And that's also what made me wonder if the portal was open after they moved in, or the doorway or whatever.
Before they moved in?
Was open. No, it was opened after. If it wasn't that bad when they went to look at the house, I assume that's when she saw it.
Well, I would assume that if you're wanting to lure things back in, you don't show yourself. So, yeah, we don't.
Victims in.
Yep. There's no way for us to know who or how that came through. But I know she said that she's had experiences all her life, and it sounded like maybe she didn't fully share that for a while and kind of kept it in. So hopefully she's, working with her son as well to help him through that.
Yeah, because he is a sensitive. Amy said he's a sensitive, and she said partly
we can see that.
Yeah, and she said that's partly why the guy chose him, because he's easy pickings. He's a kid. He's vulnerable, and he's a sensitive. He's open.
He doesn't know how to close it down.
It's easy for him to pick to attach to him. He has no defense. He sticks.
Yep.
The world hasn't destroyed him the way it has us adults.
Right.
So,
yeah,
that was a good episode. 10 out of 10 recommend to watch if you are interested in watching an episode, which you should be, because they're all good.
They're all good.
Oh, right.
Well, maybe not all good. I mean, they're all good, but they're all
good, but some are good in terms of entertaining, and others are good.
Some are good, and some are gooder.
And some are goodest.
Yeah.
So
we need to come up with some of the goodest ones to maybe talk about on the 100 episode.
Maybe we should do like highlights, like our favorite moments. I don't know. Okay. Don't listen to me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Amy is the brains behind this. I just show up. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We really, really appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. Next week, we are going to be talking to Laura, who is a Dead Files client from season 4, episode 10, called Bound. And based on her intake answer form that we give to all of our people, she is going to be a hoot and a half.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk to her. A hoot and a holler, and it's
a really good episode too. Yes. When I first reached out to her and she was agreed to do it, I watched her episode and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
Yeah,
but yes,
I remember this episode a little bit, but I haven't rewatched it since when I caught it a while ago. But
yeah,
I don't remember it because I have a bad memory.
Well, you may not have seen it either. I mean, it's
true.
You haven't seen all of them. Amy
No, I haven't.
has seen all of them, but she saw them as they were coming out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's been years.
I've seen them all, but I watched them all within, like, I was watching a Dead Files episode every single day when I first found the show. And I started at the beginning and I went in order and I watched them all. But that was 2 years ago 2 or 3 years ago. When I
No, that was during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was.
So that was almost 4 years ago, you guys.
Isn't that weird?
Doesn't feel that long ago.
That's because 2 years didn't exist.
I know.
That's true.
We just sat around and drank and did Zoom calls and watched a lot of TV. That's what I did anyway.
It's not a lot different.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. If someone would pay me to do that, I would absolutely do that again.
No, we are not judging anybody who does that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just saying it makes time not matter.
Goes a little slower.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next time.
week.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.